That was finally a common Bengals W. It's just not on the field. What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp for what has been renamed Common Bungles L, at least on the air, not for SEO reasons. We've got plenty to talk about during a bye week. But since the last game, I've actually done two shows. The Logan Wilson trade, of which the Bengals got a 7th round draft pick, and then this, a move that, quite frankly, nobody saw coming. It shocked everyone involved in and around the Bengals. Joe Burrow just showed up today and started practicing. And now the 21-day window for his return has opened. Shocking. He just strolls into practice and starts taking reps. Incredible. That's great news. Just something that, we didn't expect. The whole rap since Joe Burrow got that turf toe injury, all the now turf toe experts, of which I cannot pretend I was one of, claimed that at the earliest Joe Burrow would return by mid-December. So it was a very optimistic target of something like the Ravens game, with maybe 3 or 4 games left in the season. Now, season's over. Bengals ain't coming back from this. It would take them pretty well winning out or losing one game, maybe 1 or 2 games, maybe that, in order to win this division, of which Joe Burrow said, we got to win the division to win out, because this division has never been in this kind of shape. Ravens are coming along. Steelers lost last night. If you beat the Steelers this week, you can at least, if you get to 10 wins, you're in, but you're not getting to 10 wins. It's just not going to happen. The Bengals will not go 9-1 to close this season, because Joe Burrow is not a free safety. Joe Burrow is not a linebacker. Joe Burrow does not play defensive line. At this point, I would probably rather have him playing safety. Joe Burrow told Jay Glazer that he is aiming for Thanksgiving-ish for a return. Now, I mean, this is just great news, but the offense isn't the problem. Joe Flacco's cooking. Joe Flacco's doing great. Not saying, I'd much rather have Joe Flacco than Joe Burrow. I certainly wish that the offense that is run under Joe Burrow reflected that of Joe Flacco more, where less sacks taken, more just throwing the ball away. Definitely more just shots to like chase and tee, stuff like that. More under center, getting the run game going, making the job easier on the offensive line and the running backs. I think that there has been something shown with Joe Flacco that Joe Burrow can take away. And obviously, Joe Burrow is probably taking note of that. But in a week where Trey Hendrickson is not going to be playing again for the Cincinnati Bengals, and Shamar Stewart was not on the practice field as the Bengals returned from their bye week, the Bengals have no pass rush, none. And therefore, they have no real opportunity to, no real opportunity to make this work. If you're here in the live chat, leave a thumbs up. And Tim says the ship's about to do 360. That would make them bad again. A 180 is back to good. No, they're going to do a 360, buddy. That's what's going to happen, because the offense will still be good. The defense will still be miserable. Now, it came out that Trey Hendrickson was like, nobody offered more than a 4th for him. Got no problem with them not trading him in that case. But right now, Joe Burrow aiming for Thanksgiving-ish. So let's take a look at the Bengals schedule, which gets very hard. Pittsburgh on the road, tough. New England is great. Baltimore, they're coming on. Buffalo, in Buffalo. Then Baltimore. Yikes. You got 5 games that you could very well go 0-5 in. Then you got Miami, Arizona, Cleveland. You stand a good chance of winning those games. But Joe Burrow could be back 2 full games sooner than what was expected to be the most optimistic view. Meanwhile, Brock Purdy, who didn't have the surgery, ended up playing like one game since then. Like look at the recovery of Brock Purdy as it compares to Joe Burrow. Brock Purdy got turf toe week 1. He has played one game since then and was not good in that game. Niners lost that game. He threw 2 picks. And he had lost a fumble as well. He was not the traditional Brock Purdy there. So you can look at that and say, damn, Brock Purdy missed near the same amount of time that Joe Burrow is. And Joe Burrow went and got the surgery. And when people were saying, wow, mid-December is the most optimistic, I was saying like, damn, man, like do we know that for sure? Everybody's different. So the 21-day window has opened, so it is going to be by December 1st when he's active. You know, he could be back up or whatever that may be, but it's just amazing to see the reactions today. I saw people being like, wait, Jake Browning and Joe Burrow are taking the reps today? Okay. And that does lead you to go, okay, well, what's going to happen with Joe Flacco? Well, Joe Flacco should be back in a Bengals uniform next year for the amount that he made. I want Joe Flacco back as our backup next year. I don't want Jake Browning doing that. Joe Burrow did speak after the practice, which again was shocking to so many people, myself included. So there's plenty of blame to go around for this team's lack of success. And I agree if he means the defense, the coaching, and ownership, GMs, and scouts. That's who the blame should be on. Now, Joe Burrow also really turns it up late in the season. I think he's undefeated after week 14 or week 15. Now, granted, he's missed plenty of time after week 14 and 15. But this will definitely move some of those $45 tickets that are happening in Cincinnati for that Arizona game. Like, I also saw people saying, why is he coming back? Why is he coming? What sort of apathy do you guys have? Get that loser ass mentality out of our fan base. Get it out. Go away. Oh, we want a better draft pick. Why? Bengals can't draft anyway. Who gives a shit? Get that loser ass mentality away. Steelers don't have that mentality. That's why at their worst, they have a 500 season. The Bengals should have made the playoffs the last 2 years. The Bengals should have a 5-4 record despite having the worst defense in NFL history. The Bengals defense is worse than the last 6 winless teams in NFL history. Joe Burrow coming back is not going to help that, but Joe Burrow is being paid what was a record amount to play for the Cincinnati Bengals. Not to camp out on the sidelines, not to wait for next year, not to, oh, well, it's too risky. It's football. It's all risky. This guy wants to play. And I'm fortunate that we have a quarterback that does want to play, despite the fact that he sees that the quarterback position is in phenomenal hands right now. Joe Flacco, forever made in Cincinnati. You have never seen a quarterback that led their team to a 1-3 record that is going to be loved more in a city forever than Joe Flacco is right now. Joe Flacco is Bengal for life as far as I'm concerned. Love this guy. Now, Joe Burrow looks like he will be playing the last 5 games of the season, or will be active, possibly 6. That would put him at just under half the season. That's good. That's all right. Better than we expected. But, man, You look at this team, and one, if they had Joe Flacco, I think there's a good chance they actually end up beating Detroit, but I'm not going to mark that one down. Um, if their defense played just like it did against Green Bay, then the Bengals would have handily won the last 3 games. Instead, they won one of the last 3. This is yet another season of the Bengals underperforming. And there has to be a categorical shift defensively. There has to be a mentality shift defensively. You guys know that I was so disappointed earlier this season when they got rid of Injong Meta. And by got rid of, he didn't make the team. And then the Carolina Panthers picked him up. Now, is he an all-pro player? Should he be starting? I'm not going to go that far. But he's a guy I want on my team. He's a guy I want in my locker room because he is an absolute dog who went from undrafted, not even considered, to making the Bengals roster, to making game-saving plays. And then you have other guys on that defense who are just going through the motions. I want the dogs. Give me the dogs, by God. I wish Injong Meta had never been taken off this team. Now, the Bengals did make a signing today, and one that I like a lot. They signed Antoine Powell-Ryland. And if you don't know who that is, well, I'll tell you who it is. He was a 6th-round pick for the Eagles this year. So the Bengals, who ended up, getting, I think it was 6 draft picks. The Bengals ended up getting 6 draft picks because they traded one for Khalil Herbert. This is a way to kind of say, okay, we effectively got a bonus pick in the draft. Meanwhile, the Eagles got a steal with Jihad Campbell at the end of the first. They got, was it Mondon? I don't know how to pronounce his name. But they had like 10 draft picks this year. And it's hard to use that many draft picks. And when you got the trade with Phillips, Nolan's coming off IR. There was not a lot of room left for Antoine Powell-Ryland, who was a part of the last cuts of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I know that if you listen to Eagles fans, they're saying, damn, if he couldn't break through on this team with this defense, where's he going to catch on? Well, buddies, the Cincinnati Bengals is where he's going to catch on. Now, this is such a no-risk situation that I just love it. Out of Virginia Tech, this guy had 16 sacks his senior year. He had 9.5 his junior year. He forced three fumbles in his sophomore, junior, and senior year. Had 19 tackles for loss his senior year, 14.5 his junior year. These are some of the people I want to see getting opportunities for the Cincinnati Bengals. Some people with proven experience at the college level. And the reason why I feel that way, he's 23 years old. He played 5 years in college at a good level as well. Played at Florida as well. Got reps with the Eagles practice squad for the last few months. I want these guys on the team, and I want them getting some opportunities. You can't accidentally get 16.5 sacks, right? Not in college football. You can't. Shamar Stewart didn't have that many sacks. Shamar Stewart's sitting his ass at home right now. Get well soon. I am very happy about signing Antoine Powell-Ryland. And honestly, this weekend, if there isn't some significant improvement out of the linebackers or even the edge position, I would want him promoted and getting some opportunities. That's how in I am on him. Proven production is what the Cincinnati Bengals need to be after in the draft. No more projects. You got lucky with Amarius Mims. Shamar Stewart, so far, nothing. Demetrius Knight, you're asking a lot of that guy. I also think the Bengals need to go out and get Juan Thornhill. Will they? I doubt it. But I would sign him, not just through this year. I would sign him through next year and go ahead and get ahead of that. A veteran safety. The Bengals have needed a veteran DB. I don't care about how much he plays. I want his presence is what I want. 30 years old. He'll be 31 next season. So to me, that's completely fine. But if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I go ahead, I bring him on, and then I say, we want you for next year as well. Barring some unforeseen crash out, I would be like, yes, we definitely want you on this team. At worst, you're going to be depth. Will they? I don't know. Crazy Flacco was sitting on the couch before the Browns called him a few years ago. And now Flacco is in a situation where, like, I don't want him to ever stop playing, but I want him on the Bengals next year. I really badly want him on the Bengals. Just call me T says, excited to see Burrow play again. Me too. I'll trade you two firsts and a cashless Jerry Jones for a 7th round pick. Oh man, I would love to feel confidence in the Bengals and their draft picks, but I just don't. Clint Kubiak for head coach in 2026. Book it. They'll let Zach Taylor ride out his contract. That's what they'll do. They always do that. Just their thing, man. Just their thing. So Joe Burrow back at practice. 21-day window is open, so he'll at least be active as perhaps a backup by December 1st. Great news. Great news. Oh, man. Common Bengals W. Very happy about this. Just great news. Great news. Hopefully this changes the culture of the locker room as well. But last year's defense was also ass. But the difference is, if our defense was just as ass as it was last year, we're talking about the Bengals maybe beating the Lions, the Jets, and the Bears, and sitting much differently than they are now. Please check me out on all audio platforms this week. Actually, last week before it was the Bears game, our most watched show that we have ever done. And I want to say thank you to all of you that tuned in and checked it out and watched me crash out over the Cincinnati Bengals. It means an awful lot that you guys did check us out. And hopefully you guys hit that subscribe button. Hopefully you guys will check us out a little bit more often. Check out our shorts tab. We got some of those as well. I've been posting clips from the shows over there. We got toddlers racing puppies over there. It's a good time. I'll be back on Sunday after the Bengals-Steelers game. Mike, thank you so much. Until next time, my friends, we're out.